last night. So those are the people that came out there last night. I'm glad you came out, and I hope you had a good time and got to meet some really good people, and that was what it's all about. But the reason we do that, we do networking, is to meet people that can help us meet prospects. And it's gonna be really good today. We got Rob Smith from God dang it, 5S Sales. He's looking at me through and going, oh my God, this is the age. He looks at me and goes, man, you're getting old and you forget stuff all the time. But Rob Smith from 5S Sales is coming in today. He's going to talk about, really getting in the sales strike zone. And that's what it's about. Those of you that really want to do some really good reading one night and put yourself to sleep really quick, you need to go to Central Michigan University and go find this master's thesis that was written on the effects of commercial chemical scents on the catch rates of Great Lakes sport fishermen. That was me. I wrote that back in 1989. It was the first time I was published. But we talked about being in the strike zone, and that's what it was about. What we did is, in my master's research, we went out and we took these chemical scents, right? And we put these scents on these lures. And these lures are down there, and the fish are going to come up. They got so many different ways that they actually look to bite. So they're going to look for olfaction. Can they smell it? They're going to see can they see it? Does it look right? They're going to get up and they taste it. Does it taste right? When you get into sales, you got to do all of that with your prospects as well. You got to make sure that they're seeing what they want to see. We want to see that they're hearing what they want to hear. We want to see that they're tasting what they want to taste. Everything about it, you've got to stay in that strike zone, because what happens is when you're there, that strike zone is not very far away from the fish, so that has to come up. Some fish, like a bass, they're just going to sit there, and you got to throw that lure right in front of them and take that time and slow and kick in all those senses. And with your sales, it's the same way. Your marketing is going to drip, get that client's attention. And when you get it to your sales guy that Rob's going to talk about today, those sales guys got to be able to understand what exactly did we do to get that person here to this meeting that we're actually going to have, so these guys can close successfully. And that's what it's about. I'm a big follower of a guy named Jim Rohn, and Jim was talking in there's CD series he did back in 2000 that I watch it every year. And he talked about sales, and one of the things he talked about was staying in your sales success zone. So the success zone and the strike zone, I think, are both exactly the same place. So like I said, you got this bass sitting there, lure comes by, boom, 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 boom. We're out, trolling for blue marlin. We've got this sales pitch, boom, 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 marketing thing trying to get its attention. I think one time we showed a video, I think one of my very first episodes here, and we showed this video of what we call a teaser. And this teaser is something that splashes and makes a lot of noise. And these marlin will be under, and hopefully the boat goes under it, and this teaser gets their attention. All right, it gets them going, like, what the heck's going on? Well, that's what your marketing is going to do. Your marketing is going to do that. Boom, they're going to come up and look at it and say, hey, is this something that I want to eat? Does it look the right way? Does it smell the right way? Is it doing the right thing? Is it the right color? All these things happen. And this is what we want to see. And then all of a sudden we pull the teaser out, the fish starts looking for something else to eat, and then we go ahead and we throw in another lure with a hook on it. These things come up, boom, and they eat. Jonathan's showing you some stuff right now, some pump nose fishing and coming in the strike zone, and here we got this pike just coming up and just crushing this lure. I mean, it's just boom, 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 crush it. And that's what you want going on. We want your marketing to get people so interested. When your sales guys get in front of your clients, it's a very easy close for them. We don't want to make it difficult for our sales guys to close a deal, because it's what it's all about. If we can't close deals, we don't make any money, and we're out of business. And that's what Rob's going to talk about today. He comes into companies and he acts as a chief sales officer, and he helps build sales teams, and he coaches sales teams. And if you don't have a sales team and you're starting to grow and you need one, he's the kind of guy that he's going to come in there and he's going to help you find the right people that understand your product and understand your service and help you close. They're going to be the ones that just make sure that your clients, boom, get in there and do exactly what they're supposed to do when they need to do it. Stefan, man, thanks for coming in and checking us out. We got at least Stefan, we'll have a few more people in here, and I appreciate you following us out live on Facebook. This is great for us to get out there and do this. And, what we're going to see, and we've talked about this a lot in the past, is we got to know exactly where our clients are. This morning, one of my friends, Kevin Beach, he showed a video of catching striped marlin off of the beach. Not striped marlin, but black marlin off the beach in I think it was Cairns, Australia. And anybody that, if you're a big fisherman like me, your bucket list is you want to go to Australia to the Great Barrier Reef to catch black marlin, because these things are huge, man. These are 1,000-pound fish. But what happens is, and I'm going to ask Rob about this, but what happens is these small little black marlin, they're maybe 25, 35, 40 pounds. They come into the beach and they're eating different baits. And as your business grows and your business becomes more mature, what they eat, what your clients eat, and the type of clients that you go after changes. And I want to ask Rob that, because I'm actually going to put together a blog post next week that covers that. So I want you guys, there it is up there. We got this guy catching this black marlin on a beach. And it's going to be awesome. So your clients may actually change how they buy as they mature and as your business matures. And it's very interesting to be able to know that and kind of what goes on with this. So that's why this marketing and sales, they're two totally different things, but they are so interrelated, and they need to be interrelated to do the right things. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to get in depth in this, or we're going to talk with a sales expert, because I know here when I was in business, I called myself a great tear-upper. I was that guy that I went out and met people. I got them all excited. But man, when it came asking for $100,000, I had a hard time doing it. And, it was really funny, but I would do it for other people just to show them I could do it. When I was selling life insurance, I'd train somebody and I would go do it just to prove that I could do it. But man, when I was doing it myself, there was mental blocks, and I'm hoping Rob's going to help us, go through some of that today. So Jonathan, we about ready to kick out after this first segment? All right, so you guys, I hope we set it up today. We're going to talk about being in the sales strike zone today. We've got Rob Smith. He's an expert. This is Michael Rager, your business guide. We'll be back in just a minute.
COVID-19 transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The Now Media Video Business Card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The Now Media Video Business Card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.
Are you looking for a full-service company that can handle everything from a new roof installation, restoration, and maintenance with all the experience that comes from nearly 50 years of business? Joe Ochoa Roofing specializes in inspections, roof repairs, new roof installations, gutters, siding, windows, and even more. Damage on your roof can sometimes take up to 1 year or more to show up. Joe Ochoa Roofing gives you the peace of mind you need to ensure your home and family are well protected from weather elements. Joe Ochoa Roofing offers the best quality workmanship with an accredited business since 1996 by the Better Business Bureau with an A+ rating. We also have financing available with no interest and no payments for 12 months. So don't delay and call us to get a quote at 281-890-0000 or visit our website at www.ochoaroofing.com for more information.
Hi, this is Alberto Tudela. The Houston metro area has experienced a substantial increase of wind and hail damage, flooding, and other perils in the last 5 years. Now more than ever, it is critical and essential to ensure your company, your property, as well as your family have the right insurance coverage. Tudela Insurance Solutions offers a wide variety of insurance for home, auto, property, as well as life insurance. My goal is to find a tailored option that guarantees the right coverage at the right price, specific to your needs, present and future, so you protect what matters the most. Call me today at 713-714-4444 475 and allow our team at Tudela Insurance Solutions to make sure you're protected. Accidents never happen when we expect them. Now is the time to ensure you have peace of mind.
Hey, this is Michael Ridge, your business guide, and I'm back with Rob Smith. Rob, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, Mike.
So,
Good to be here with you.
So I hope I set you up. I teed you up a little bit, like I told you. I'm a pretty good teer upper.
Yeah, you did a good job. You are a good teer upper.
Thanks. Closing the sales, I suck, dude. But that's why we got you here. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you were in corporate America.
Yep.
You got out of it, like a lot of us, and you got into running your own business. What made you decide to do that?
Well, a lot of things, actually. So I actually started my career. I'm a recovering engineer. I don't know if you knew that or not. Yeah. Started as an engineer, and it wasn't too far into my career. The VP of engineering took me out to lunch and said, "Rob, you're not an engineer." I thought I was going to get fired, like I'd messed something up or something, right? So, but he's like, no, don't worry. You're a fine engineer. You're just not an engineer. You're a sales guy. And I was pissed and offended by that accusation, but that stuck with me. And a couple of years later, I got an opportunity to transition into sales with a corporation, division of a corporation that was headquartered here in Houston. And when I got there as a bag carrying sales guy, the guy who was 4 or 5 levels above me, the VP of sales, great guy, awesome leader, still a friend to this day. I wanted to be him when I grew up. So in corporate, as those of us who have been there know, I took the jobs that corporate told me to take. I, moved to the cities that corporate told me to move to. With a few twists and turns along the way, I ultimately, made that shiny title of VP of Sales. Was running $650 million in revenue, and at times had sales teams across 14 different time zones. I was a big deal.
Why'd you quit?
Well, at some point you take stock. I mean, the corporation I work for, blessed my family in many ways, financial, fringe perks like boondoggles to Ireland with big customers to play golf and stuff like that. But, along the way, I'd also started to build a family and, had kids at home, and I was gone 80-90% of the time. The higher you get up in a complicated organization, the fiercer the politics. That's exhausting.
Oh, yeah.
And candidly, I'm surprised I made it as far as I did, because I'm just really not housebroken well enough for corporate. So started looking for something different. My wife wanted me home more, oddly. I guess she still likes me after 20-something years. The kids wanted to see me more. I think you heard me say before we started, my oldest daughter turns 13 today.
Yep.
Now's the time for daddy to be home more, not less.
Not less. Yeah.
So started looking and ultimately decided to take my toys and make my own sandbox.
Nice.
Take those skills and abilities that I built over a career and lend those to small and medium-sized businesses who are struggling to grow.
So when you started the business, you obviously went in, you're looking to help other businesses create profitable sales teams. Mm-hmm. That's the whole thing, is making money,
that's it.
Right?
That's it.
So what were the biggest challenges you had? Now you're on your own. You don't have a corporate marketing budget. You don't have all this other stuff. Where did you struggle when you first started?
I think at first I probably struggled a bit with maybe messaging, and because you and I both rely a lot upon networking, right? And how do you tell a succinct story that's going to get somebody interested, and that kind of thing. I think that was probably the biggest adjustment for me, was because I'd always had that done for me, right? So now I've got to generate that demand or generate that interest.
Well, because that's where you're going. We talked about this when we first met. We started saying that's the big difference between marketing and sales.
Yeah.
Now you're a marketing guy as well as a sales guy. And you're like, holy crap, that's totally different.
Yeah, the simplest way I know how to put it is, and it probably fits pretty well with your fishing deal. Marketing really kind of creates the opportunities, right? That gets you swings of the bat or casts of the rod or whatever you want to put it.
Yeah.
However you want to put it. It's up to the salespeople to turn those opportunities into revenue.
Yeah.
And that's really the simplest way I can can boil it down.
Yeah, but now when you came to this thing is I was in the engineering world as well. I worked for some of the big engineering firms in town. It used to tick me off when they say, "Wait, we need somebody that's a seller doer." That used to just like could you just find somebody like two words that were so different?
Right.
When you're coming into that B2B type sales thing, I understand they want you to understand the product and service that we do.
Sure.
But if you're doing all the work, you damn well can't go sell.
Yeah, it's dilutive, right? It's not productive.
No, it's not. And how do you, if you were to go into an engineering firm like you used to work with, it, I'm sure that's the way they did things too, and they promoted it.
Yeah.
How do you go in there and teach them that this ain't the way to do it, guys?
It rarely does. It's kind of like being a player coach as well, right? Like you manage, but then you also do. You do and you sell. You need focus. I mean, you just put out a LinkedIn thing. Was it yesterday or the day before on focus? Mm-hmm. And I think it's really about showing the powers that be that by chopping a salesperson or making a salesperson do the doing or the doer do the selling. Rarely are people good at both.
Yeah,
rarely.
It's I've heard so many different analogies. We got grinders, minders, finders. We got all these things that are going on. When you come into your perfect client, what's usually the struggle that they're having right now when they find Rob Smith?
It's usually because they maybe have been on a growth trajectory and have flattened out or even started to decline, and what they've done in the past isn't working to pull them out of it. I mean, so the owner has to know that there's a problem. The owner has to recognize that they're not the ones to solve it, and the owner has to be willing to relinquish control.
So does it go to something like the analogy that I gave in the beginning, that we got these itty bitty 60-pound black marlin in on the beach? They're eating baits that are this big. They turn in 2,000-pound fish.
Right.
They change.
They do.
And as the business grows, it changes.
It absolutely does. And often once a business gets to a certain level of revenue, however you want to measure it, head count, it stalls.
Yeah.
Because they haven't found maybe better waters to live in, or haven't recognized that they need to be eating something different to continue to get bigger.
Yeah, their habitat needs to change, because those small marlin, they move off the beach and they move into deep water where they're eating bigger fish and they're doing this, and they got more things to eat, and it's really different. And I've seen that all the time. I've coached businesses. My target market is businesses between $500,000 and $5 million. Mm-hmm. Usually from me, they're going to move on to doing some bigger things. I've coached some in the 10 to 15 million, but that's when I got to bring in more experts like you. Yep. And so if they want me to do everything, it's a little bit different. When you're looking at your target market, what is your target market?
Generally, it's businesses from 2 to 20 million.
Uh-huh.
Yep. That's kind of the sweet spot. Can work with bigger than that. I've worked with a couple 100 million companies, but it's usually something very specific that either they don't have the bandwidth or skill set for, but that kind of come in and really fix it and take it to the next level. It's generally in that 2 to 20 million.
2 to 20 million.
Yeah.
So they're having these issues. They don't know what to do. Okay, so 5 minutes. That's what you're telling us. Okay, 5. Thank you, sir. It's it's nice to get Jonathan. He's hiding today. I don't even see him back there. There his head pops up. But so we're going here. We're coming along. We're plugging and chugging. We're growing our business.
Yep.
How much does the sales team, how much do they talk to the marketing team as a business? that's the answer that I was expecting.
Yeah, not as much as they should. Not as much as they should. And it's odd to even find those silos in the smaller companies. You expect that in corporate, right? As you get bigger, it's just
right.
It just kind of naturally happens unless you're very purposeful about making it not happen. But I think, especially now, some of the businesses that have been successful through this craziness that we're all trying to navigate together, sales and marketing are tight. That's whenever you're going to really see success.
Because it's really funny. I was talking to a lady that I'm looking to start a joint venture with, and she does some marketing things at some of the other marketing companies I don't deal with. And we were talking, and I said, whenever I go in and look at a strategy, when I go to my clients and say, okay, what's your marketing and sales strategy? Normally 9 times out of 10, they look at me like a deer in the like, what do you mean strategy? I post on Facebook. I got some ads. Right. I got this crap. And I always start with, how does your client buy? Mm-hmm. Do we have to have a one-to-one meeting? Is it a 3-series meeting?
Right.
How do my salespeople close them successfully? And then we need to look at what marketing strategies and tactics drive us to get those right meetings. Mm-hmm. How do you talk with people, and let them know that's the way to do it?
What you're talking about really is process, right? And there's often a lot of discovery that has to happen. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you've seen this time and time again where, well, what is your commercial let's take sales and marketing out of it. What is your commercial process? Because both functions are at the front end of the business. Mm-hmm. And there's basically from cradle to grave, from lead to PO, there's a process, and map that out. And hopefully through that exercise, you kind of begin to shed some light on where the disconnects are.
How many businesses do you walk in and have actually done that?
Very. Why would they need me?
They need you. I've never done this stuff, but it's really funny. I go in and I push. I go, you guys need processes. You need sales processes, and you need marketing processes, and you need operation processes, right, and finance processes. And they look at me like,
I'll go you one better. How many times have you asked an owner that may be struggling? You got an opportunity to talk because of that. And one of the first questions I ask whenever I sit down with a potential client is, tell me about your sales goals. We want to grow.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Right, exactly.
It's really funny is too. The other thing I see is there's some of my competition out here in Houston. They're always pushing, we need to get you to $1 million business. You need to do $1 million in sales. And I'm like, well, your profit margin is only 8%. That ain't nothing. Why don't we look at more of that? Why don't we look at what let's get you to 500,000 in profit,
right?
And look at that, mm-hmm, and go for it, because it's so many businesses, especially in the smaller business, they don't know what their profit margins are in their sales.
No.
They have no idea.
No, they may say that they do, and may have a conversation as to why they think what they are. But until you can kind of run a report, and I make
my clients do the mini P&Ls. It's a very mini P&L. So what's the revenue coming in? What are my cost of goods sold?
Yep.
What's my fixed costs? And what do I got left over? Because what I got left over is the important thing.
Exactly.
And one of my mentors, he told me that revenue was for your ego, and profit was for your pocketbook. And that's the way you need to be looking at these things to really make it move, and go from there. So I know Jonathan said we got about a minute. Tell people how to contact you. If they were looking to learn a little about you.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get to me via email. You can get to me via LinkedIn. My phone number is 346-224-4594 if you want to give me a call. Any of those three are viable ways to get in touch with me.
Well, cool. Well, we're going to come back. We're going to go to commercial. We're going to come back. And Rob, what I want to do is I want to break down a sales meeting. Okay. I want to break down what is important to be in that strike zone that we're talking about.
Sure.
How do the marketing team and everybody set up a salesperson for success? So we good, Jonathan? Sweet. All right, we'll see you guys back here in a couple minutes.
COVID-19 transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The Now Media Video Business Card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The Now Media Video Business Card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.
If you are a real estate agent and are looking for a reliable cleaning company to keep your houses for sale or rental properties impeccable, Sierra Cleaning Services is your solution. With more than 15 years of experience, Sierra Cleaning Services has been the company of reference for real estate agents in the areas of Houston, Katy, Cinco Ranch, Cypress, and the Woodlands. Sierra Cleaning Services include residential, commercial, and office cleaning, window and debris removal during all phases of construction projects, and cleaning homes and offices before and after the tenants move out. Contact Alfredo Sierra at 913-439-8157 today and let Sierra Cleaning Services be your partner in your cleaning project.
Hi, this is Scarlett Horton. You may remember me from the morning news. We know that finding the right team for your painting project can be overwhelming, and if not done right, a painting project can easily go over your budget. At CertaPro Painters of Central Houston, our professionals will ensure your residential or commercial painting projects run smoothly and are convenient for your schedule, leaving you time for what matters most. CertaPro of Central Houston has been serving the Houston metro area for more than a decade and has a solid reputation. You can read reviews from our clients and see examples of our work on our social media pages, letters of recommendation, website, and Google reviews. Additionally, at CertaPro Painters of Central Houston, we warranty our work for 2 years. We offer free color consultation. We do residential and commercial jobs, interior and exterior, and we are licensed and insured. Not to mention, we are experts in painting cabinets. CertaPro is the largest painting contractor in the USA. Our crews are not only qualified and skilled painters, they are the best at what they do, and we are always on time. Let our experts at CertaPro of Central Houston transform your home and business. Our proven process gives you more time to enjoy moments that matter in the spaces you love. Alfredo, Mallory, and John are experienced professionals who will work with you every step of the way to ensure a flawless finish. Call us today at 713-824-5166 and let CertaPro of Central Houston handle with ease, efficiency, and high professionalism your next residential and commercial painting project, because the world needs color.
Welcome back. This is your business guide, Michael Rager with Teach Your Business to Fish. I'm here with Rob Smith from 5S Sales. All right, Rob. So those of you that are following us on Facebook Live, you're kind of getting some of the behind the scenes, and we kind of figured out what we're going to talk about a little bit. So let's talk about the differences between small businesses and big business. Okay, so small businesses, you got these are these ones that are doing $1 million in a year, but you probably got the owner selling. You got somebody that's doing production is selling. How does that differ, and how do you go coach and train somebody like that versus somebody that's got an intact sales team?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, for that smaller company that's in that kind of mode where everybody's selling, you really need to transition out of that because kind of like we were talking during the break, who's really managing the sales process if everybody's selling?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it falls back to the owner, and the owner thinks that he or she is. I'd bet dollars to donuts that no one's managing the sales process, and there's really no organized effort or any sort of semblance of a cohesive function whenever it's just kind of all over the place. So to answer your question, I don't think I would manage that at all. I think I would transition out of that.
So over here, we're going to teach you how to build a sales team,
which is going to be a process, and it's going to be, I think, tough for some. But you said it before. They may think they're selling, and they may just not be good at it.
Yeah. Well, I had some of my clients, that are growing. They're doing stuff, and we're like, hey, you guys need a sales team.
Right.
You're selling stuff, but you're not selling the high end stuff. You're selling a lot of the easy stuff, which is great, but we need to really look at who you're doing it. They're afraid, and I think that's where that small business owner is afraid, was how do I pay those people?
Yep.
How do I
make that transition? How do I pay those people to not sell the easy stuff because the harder sale may be more profitable? And how do you design compensation plans which most business owners have never done because they've just never spent time in a formal sales function. I mean, I think that's part of the good thing of coming out of corporate is I can bring the good stuff,
right,
and leave the bad stuff behind, and put business owners in a position to make that transition.
So when you're talking to a small business owner and say, okay, here you really need to get a salesperson or two in place to really start driving this thing. How do you compensation plans? I know is always a hard thing. That's that. What do I pay them? Do I give them a fixed fee plus a commission? How do I hit my commission? How do I get it without knocking down my profit margins? How do we look at that? And when you're talking to someone, how should they start looking at that?
I start looking at that right away. And my answer to that question is my favorite answer to any question, and it depends.
Okay.
Right? Depends on what kind of behavior you're trying to drive. If you want to, like kind of an example that we did before, they're selling the easy stuff, but we need them to sell the profitable hard stuff. Mm-hmm. There are ways you can design that such that they're more heavily compensated on the more profitable product, the product that's going to take more time and maybe effort to actually close a deal. So it really kind of depends on what kind of behavior you're trying to drive. Now, just fundamentally speaking, I'm not a big fan of 100% commission. Although I know a lot of those plans are out there.
Right.
If you need your salesperson to be doing anything that's not revenue generating, like something strategic, whether it's populating a CRM, whether it's doing business development stuff that doesn't necessarily automatically lead to revenue, they're just not going to do it. Would you do it if you're 100% commission? Hell no, I'd be out. Yeah. I'd be out inking deals.
Right.
I'm not going to be sitting in the office and doing strategic type stuff.
Well, because it was interesting, as a couple of my clients this year, coming into COVID, they were looking for stuff. They thought that there was a whole bunch of salespeople that got laid off at COVID, and people were looking for deals. And their big fear was, I would start working with them. They would help me start doing it. And as soon as somebody came in and offered them more money, they were gone.
Yeah.
And that's a big fear as a small business owner. How do I overcome that and bring that person on and let them know they're valuable? Because if they really drive that revenue towards me and they drive profit, I want to pay them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And one of the questions I ask of potential clients is, I'll ask the owner, do you have a problem if your top salesperson makes more money than you?
I was just going to bring that up.
You're going to go there?
Sorry. Yeah, I don't know if you know a guy named Art Saxby.
Chief Outsider.
Yeah, Chief. I got to spend a couple mornings talking with Art when I was looking at building my former company, and that's what he told me. He goes, Mike, I'm like the 10th highest paid guy in my company, and I'm like, who makes more than you? He goes, my sales guys, baby. And he goes, I'm going to make more when I sell the company.
Yeah.
He had a very long-term strategic plan for what he was doing. But when I worked for a big company here, one of the reasons why I moved here, one of the vice presidents got mad when one of the sales guys made more money than him. And it's like, the dude's out inking these major deals. Right. And that was the corporate structure. I mean, I would love to have a sales guy that I'm paying $200,000 a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to. I just don't know. I'm small enough now. I don't know how in the hell do I compensate them till we get there. That's the thing, and that's what we look at. I know there's a lot of business owners just like that.
Yeah. And honestly, if the business owner answers me that no, if my sales guys can't make more money than me, that's not somebody I really want to work with.
Yeah.
Just because that mindset is incorrect.
I think so.
And if you design a good comp plan, one that drives the right behavior and actually produces the revenue in the places where you want it to, you're going to be able to afford a salesperson much better than you actually deserve.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a good thing. But I still think I see it in small business owners as fear. It's, oh my God, I've got to pay this guy something. I'm not even paying myself that much yet.
Yep.
How do I pay this person? How do I know they're any good? And go there. The guys that are good want money up front, or they want
some
stuff.
Sort of base.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Base plus commission. It makes it hard for a small business owner. So when should they start looking and saying, all right, I've got to do this. I have got to move, and I've got to bring somebody on to sell. Because I suck at it. I know the client. I know one of the people that are watching, and I know she does admin for a company, and she's not a salesperson. The guy does the work. He's not a salesperson, but they got business coming in, and we know they needed a salesperson, but they just didn't know how to compensate them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, I can generally help with that. I mean, because as you said kind of in my intro, not only do I work with companies that have existing sales forces, but those that are growing and need to make that transition but don't really know how. And I don't have a formulaic way of coming up with a sales compensation plan. Again, my favorite answer, it depends. It depends on what the business is, what's the sales cycle. There are a lot of, vegetables and things that go into that stew. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be individual.
Yeah, I used to say it's like one of my favorite coaching questions is people say, well, I don't know how to do that. And one of my favorite coaches goes, well, if you did know, how would you do it? And it's amazing that 999 out of 1,000, they've got a really good answer in their head. They just don't want to spit it out and do that. So when we're building, so now we're coming in, we're growing, right? We're up there. When do we start looking at hiring a sales manager? When do we start documenting sales processes? When does all that crap?
Ideally on the front end of building out the sales team.
Really?
Right. So the process is going to align the team, and you may have different, people within the team. You used a couple of, terms earlier. You may have a farmer versus a hunter, account manager versus, your slayer that goes out there and just, adds new logos and new customers and is just good at that kind of thing. But the process isn't going to be that much different.
Right.
Because it doesn't really matter if you're selling baseballs or bananas. For a company, they're going to have a journey, right, along that from, lead to PO. So those kind of things, in my view, need to be in place before you even bring on salespeople, because how do you kind of integrate them into your organization if you don't have a lot of those things defined?
With some of the things I've tried in the past, we've tried to bring in, we do a lot of presentations. Like you and I were trying to do some presentations, get it out. But I was looking to bring in people to do presentations as well. And I got a whole bunch of people say, well, yeah, I'll do the presentation, I'll close, but I'm not filling it. And it's like, I'm like, well, that's the hardest part,
Yeah. They didn't want to do the hiring?
No, they didn't want to put butts in chairs.
Okay.
They didn't want to bring people in and get them to the presentation they were going to do. They're like, well, you do that.
Oh, I see.
And how much should we look at having a salesperson do that? Because when I looked at it, I said, I'm going to give you a much higher commission rate if you do that.
Right.
If I fill the room, you go close, you're going to get a 10, 15% commission rate. You fill the room, I'm going to give you 50. I'm going to do a 50-50 share.
Yeah.
And a client for me.
Salesperson's relationships in the market that you should be leveraging to put those butts in the seats, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or that's when you're picking up the phone and cold calling and do the things that you do that I don't want to do.
Right.
Because I don't know, does anybody want to cold call anymore?
That's a special kind of person.
But it still works, doesn't it?
It does. It's a numbers game, and you got to grind through it if you're doing cold calling. And there are a lot of companies out there that do just that. I would say probably more bad ones than good ones, but
yeah. What kind of KPIs, key performance indicators, do you guys have there? What kind of KPIs do you think it's really important to put on salespeople?
That's a great question, because everybody's mind always goes to the numbers, right? If you've finally get a business owner to accept that they need a sales goal, and okay, whatever it is, $5 million. All right, how are we going to get there? Part of the metrics are those numbers. Maybe it's in total for the company, then by salesperson, by product, by customer. You can chop it a number of different ways, but I think probably part of the spirit of your question is that's only numbers, and there's really no answers in the numbers. There's really only questions, and the questions are, what are you doing to put those numbers up, right? What are the activities? Do you need to make so many cold calls per day or period or whatever? Do you need to have so many, customer touch points per day, week, whatever period? You're familiar with SMART goals, right? I mean, all of those things, they need to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely.
Yeah, I used to do, I used to sell life insurance at one time with one of the companies, and then this thing was 8531.
Okay.
They knew for every 8 meetings you had set, 5 would actually hold, 3 would let you do the presentation, and 1 of the 3 would buy. And their thing was, if you did 8531 every week, you're making 6 figures. And that was company
That's kind
average.
of the formula.
Yeah, that was the formula. So how important is that to put together a formula for a sales team so they know this is what I really need to do?
It's absolutely critical. It's absolutely critical, because otherwise they're just kind of, how else are you going to establish kind of baselines for those metrics that you're going to measure them against and judge them against? Because if they're not doing the 8-5-3-1 or whatever that process is, how do you hold them accountable? And if they don't do it, then you got to start having hard conversations, right? So you absolutely need that.
Yeah, because it found me as I was leading the team. If you weren't setting 8 meetings, I at least go, okay, what are you doing during the day that you're not setting 8 meetings?
Yeah.
Then if you set 8 meetings and 5 of them weren't holding, I said, okay, what were the quality of the meetings that you were setting? Were they the right fish, as we talk about here? Your fish to get rich. Were they the right ones? Then if you got them, were they letting you do the presentation?
Right.
And then if you were doing the presentation, you couldn't close. What was the problem there? And at least I knew then that I could coach them up.
Right. Yeah. You've got kind of windows of opportunity to dig in and engage and coach and that kind of thing. Absolutely.
Because I think that's really important, because if we don't know what's going on and we don't know how things are going and people are doing what they're doing, because I found that people that came in and they get in these sales organizations and stuff like that, they're busy all the time.
Yeah.
But they're usually busy doing crap.
Non-value add.
Yeah.
Things.
And we talked about last night. We did some networking last night. I thought the important of the networking group last night was to bring in high impact people to networking. That we're all in a very, very similar niche of the level of businesses that they did business with.
Yeah. And as business owners, me and you both, we need to remain mindful of that. And it's not that much different than, a normal sales funnel, because that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to sell ourselves and get next to the right people. And I think it's easy. And I've even found myself, you tell me if you think this is, or if you found this, I go through periods where, just kind of sit down and just think about the business for a while, set aside some time. An EOS implementer friend of mine suggested that I do that. And during one of those kind of reflection periods, I realized that I'd kind of gotten lazy in my networking, not necessarily in the number of meetings, the 8 that you put forward, but the quality of those. And I think you continually, either whether you're a business owner, salesperson, whatever, you need to be self-critical in what you're doing and how that's producing.
I think so. There's a networking event I go to once a month. It was a Business and Brews thing, and I went through it knowing that the only reason I was going was for the eye candy. Sorry, I'm just being a guy. There were pretty girls to look at and talk to. It's not that I'm doing anything with them,
Right.
But it was just, hey, it was once a month on a Friday at 3:00 to 5:00. We're at a brewery, and this is what we're doing. But I met a girl that was there, and I remember. I don't know if you've seen my fishing with hot dogs video with my kids and talking about, if you're not throwing out the right bait and you're not going the same thing. But I met this girl. She was a young lady, and she was selling high-end photography. So, $1,000 portraits of young kids, very high end. And I'm like, why are you at this networking event? There's not one person here that can afford this. And she goes, where should I be? And so we did a fishing with hot dogs talk. And I said, no, where are your clients at? And she goes, oh my God, they're not the parents, it's the grandparents. I need to be focusing on the grandparents who have the houses in River Oaks. And I go, okay, where do they go? Oh, they go to high-end charity functions. Oh, why don't you go spend time there? And she's like, oh my God.
Yeah, the light bulb comes on.
The light bulb come on, but she goes, well, I've had a coach for like 5 months and she never came up with this. And she still went back to that coach. And she didn't hire me. And I'm just like, all right, great.
You couldn't close it.
I didn't go there to close. I was giving away that freemium. I was giving away the free stuff. And so we got 1 minute here to close. Give one sales tip. You're going to give a company one sales tip. What is it? I know, put you on the spot.
One sales tip. Know what you're selling and the value that it provides the customer.
Ooh, the value. I love one of my clients. He used to say, quit selling to your client with your wallet.
Right. That's fantastic. I may steal that.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. Quit selling to your client with your wallet.
Yep.
Because people will devalue what they have. And I've got a friend of mine, and she kicks me all the time. She goes like, man, you're way more valuable than what you're selling your product for. Will you selling it for more?
Yeah.
And do it. So I think that's a great one. So Jonathan, we're going to break. See, that's the best close. I love it. It's great, Jonathan. Thank you so much. I love you back there. All right. We're going to break. We'll be back in just a minute.
Transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The Now Media Video Business Card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The Now Media Video Business Card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.
Do you want to experience the ease and convenience of the latest and most advanced home security system? Are you going away on vacation and want to have peace of mind while you're not at your home or at your office? According to the FBI, a robbery occurs every 13 seconds, and homes and businesses without a security system are 300% more likely to be burglarized. Hawk Security provides security solutions to residential and small businesses in the state of Texas and from California to Georgia, building a custom-tailored security setup that matches your needs. Whether it is home security, fire and carbon monoxide detection, flood detection, connected senior care, managed video surveillance solutions, alarm monitoring, and life safety. In addition to fire and carbon monoxide detection, Hawk Security has a smart home and business integration, expanding security services to a lifestyle solution, keeping customers connected to their home and businesses from anywhere in the world, from their tablet or mobile device, so you can have peace of mind even if you're not at home or in your office. Reduce your energy cost, scheduling automatic changes in thermostats or lighting. And because we rely on our heroes every single day, Hawk Security offers security services discounts to military personnel, veterans, first responders, educators, and hospital personnel. Our mission is to keep our clients safe, treat them like family, and provide them with a user-friendly security system with personalized customer service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For integrity, honesty, passion, and excellent customer service, take a strong step today toward getting protected and call Rosanna Torres at 832-863-8574, because every home and business is unique and every security system should be unique too.
Hey, this is your business guy, Uncle Rager, and I'm back with Rob Smith of 5S Sales. All right, Rob, we talked about, your business and how you got into it. We talked about some of the important things about growing sales teams and what you should be looking at. You left corporate America to spend time with your family. It's kind of like I quit pipelining because I was gone 10 months out of the year. I missed my son's second year.
Yeah.
I was not home. I was home every other Saturday for about 10 months. Mm-hmm. And when they're 2 years old, they don't see you. They're not really cool with that.
Yeah. When my girls were little, I would sometimes leave for 3 weeks at a stretch and just fly around the world. Mm-hmm. And when they're that little, 3 weeks, they look different.
Yeah,
when you
come home and it's like, who are you?
And there would actually be a period where, like, when my second daughter was young, like, she would be standoffish to me for a couple of days until she's like, okay, I kind of remember this guy.
My son would do that too. Yeah, because I would be gone 2 to 3 weeks. I was flying up to Wichita and back, working on a project, and he would look at me. This is like kind of just when Skype started, and so he would look at you a little bit. Was like, "Who are you?" through the thing, and he would really. But when I came home, he was standoffish, and he didn't want to. And, the time he would loosen up was about 3 hours before I had to get back to the airport. Okay, you're dad. Let's play. Oh, gotta go, dude. Sorry.
Right.
So what do you do in the family now? Me and my son, we fish a lot. We do this. What do you and the girls? Where do you spend the time with them now?
Sure. Well, my oldest daughter is big into MMA.
Okay.
The one that's turning 13 today, and so I like to help her work out in between the sessions that she does. At first it was easy, but now she's getting good enough that I don't know how much help I am, but at least it's
Does it hurt when she hits you by mistake?
She's tiny like her mother, but she's quick and she hits hard. Like even her instructor is like, I don't know where that comes from out of that little thing, but
so MMA, did like she just like watch MMA fights with dad as growing up, or what the heck happened there?
She had an interest in martial arts, and I mean, I'll be honest, from a convenience standpoint, like a gym opened up just right around the corner from our house, and they offered it, and she asked if she could go, and just fell in love with it. Yeah, I think she's testing for her 3rd or 4th belt here in the next.
Yeah, I remember my son did it. We made him do something because he's not very athletic. He's more artsy, and he likes to play the piano and sing and stuff like that. But we made him do something, and we made him do martial arts. And the first time he had to go break that board with his foot, and he started crying because he couldn't do it. And I got the video. I mean, the instructor was really good. He sat down with him in front of the people and had a little talk with them.
Oh, good.
And he got up and he broke the board, but he was like, that's so bad for him.
Yeah. So my younger daughter's into soccer.
Okay.
So, kick the ball around with her and stuff as much as she'll let me. Because she doesn't really want help from dad.
Yeah.
I mean, I played soccer 8 or 9 years growing up. That was never great, but I mean, I know stuff.
Yeah.
I could help.
I know things, man. I'm a dad.
In the world, I'm I'm actually a real person. So like that with her, they both like to go fishing as well. I mean, we'll do the offshore thing, or haven't yet.
Oh, you need to come.
That'd be awesome. And then my youngest, the boy, just really anything with it.
Right.
So my wife and I are both from the St. Louis area, so we're big baseball fans.
Okay.
And so my wife is insistent that he will play baseball.
He will play baseball.
So, we hit the ball, got him hitting it off the tee, and now he'll be 5 in December. So he's hitting the ball off the tee, and we're throwing stuff around together.
Mine can hit. He can't catch. I'm terrified of putting a hard ball near him.
Yeah, my son's better at the hitting than the catching as well.
I was friends with Deacon Jones. I don't know if you know Deke. He's with the Sugarland Skeeters, used to be with the Astros.
Yeah.
And I brought my son to the Skeeters game, and he goes, man, can he hit you? And I go, yeah, dude. He goes, off the tee? I said, I don't know. I never gave him a tee. Because you've been live pitching to him ever since he can swing a bat. He likes going and swinging the bat and hitting the ball with dad. But when I'm like, hey, do you want to go play? Nah, I don't really have the interest in doing that. And you kind of wonder how much you force him and do that stuff. But, you got to do what you got to do. And
absolutely
make him do some stuff. Okay, so I asked you a question during the break. Either your biggest, best, most interesting sale. What was it?
You made me think about that on the break too, and I've done a lot of big ones. I think the biggest deal that I was involved in was $20 million. But I think the one that sticks out to me the most was probably my first.
Okay.
Because I made the transition from engineering to sales and that kind of thing, and it was. My first one was relatively complicated, where we weren't in, like my company that I worked for, the manufacturer, we weren't in preferred position. So that first one took a lot of effort and actually coaching for me to think about things differently. And I actually was able to convert, I don't even remember how big of a deal it was. It might have been $100,000 or something, but I worked really hard at swapping, a product that was preferred to the one that we manufactured. So that was that's the one that probably sticks. It's like the first girl you kiss, or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's the one. But I have been in some pretty. It was funny. Just a quick story. Like I've negotiated a bunch of 7-figure deals throughout my career, and a few years back, my oldest daughter wanted me to be kind of a coach for this. It's called Destination Imagination. It promotes kids getting into STEM type stuff. And,
okay.
I remember like the night before the first session where I've got, how old was she at the time? She was like 8 or 9. The night before I've got like 6 or 7 9-year-olds that I got to start to coach along this project. I was more nervous about that than going and sitting down, across the table from a hard ass who's trying to negotiate a better price on a 7-figure deal. That was more nerve wracking for me.
Yeah, I think I told you the break. My biggest sale I think it was $5 million, and the only reason I did. My boss told me we couldn't win it.
That's fantastic.
I just went to prove him wrong. He was going on vacation, and he was going to the Bahamas, and he came back and said, dude, close the deal. And it was really funny is me closing that deal was what caused me to leave that company and actually go out with another partner and build the company that we sell, is because when we came back, our corporate offices were here in Houston. I was in Cincinnati, and I was working in Michigan on this project, and I closed it. And I come down, and I used, I was single at the time, and I used to hang out with all the president's assistants and stuff like that. So I was coming to town. Mike was the guy. We're going to go party and have a good old time. Those of you that know me imagine that. And
shocking.
They come in, and they're like, "Hey, dude, you're buying." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And well, they go, because you closed that big deal and that big bonus you got. And I'm like, "What bonus?" And we found out that the two guys that ran the office kept the bonus and they never passed it on. And it was like almost $80,000.
Wow.
And I was pissed.
Yeah. That's a great way to demotivate your team.
A great way to demotivate your team. And the guy, I put together everything on this project, everybody, and I went to the client. And I said, "I'm leaving." And they go, "What do you mean? You're a man?" And I said, "Nope. Have them do it." And they screwed it up bad. I mean, they screwed it up so bad it ruined my reputation some, in the industry, which hurt. I got blowback because they screwed it up. But it sure made me feel good because I was at a trade show, maybe 12 years ago. And one of the guys passed. The two guys passed away. Well, the other one started another consulting firm, and we're here, and I'm working for a big engineering firm, and we're there, and this small engineering firms next to us, and it was him. And he walked in and he looked at me like,
"Uh-oh." Yeah.
Like, "Hey, dude, how's it going?" And so
awkward.
It was a little awkward, going there and doing something like that. So what's on the plans with your company? I mean, where are you looking to go? What are you looking to grow? And what's the end game?
Well, I mean, ultimately the end game, the whole reason why I started this was to, have a better quality of life, for me and my family. I think at some point along the road and, in the corporate rat race, money's not everything to me. I mean, this is an opportunity for me to engage in the community because, I mean, I've lived in Houston for 13 years. I was moved here by the corporation that I left. And in those 13 years until I started, this business, I had led an anonymous life because I was gone all the time. I mean, outside of some of my kids' friends' parents. But, since I've started this, it's been fantastic. I've met a lot of cool people. I'll even include you. Even you. Yeah. Even you. I've worked with some very interesting business owners and met some real characters. So it's fantastic. So, I mean, you asked, about the end game. I want to keep doing this and, keep growing my practice. And
so you're going to grow it up and make this a sellable asset one day, or
that's not necessarily. I don't have an exit plan.
Okay.
Really, people ask me that, and I feel bad that I don't have a better answer.
That's why me as a coach. What's your exit plan? we can't build it if you don't know what the heck we're building.
You run your business like you're going to run it forever until the day you sell it.
Right? Well, kind of. That's why you don't get the top value for it, but that's okay. We hear that all the time. We do it all the time. So, again, this is just they talked about. I think what we met 9 months ago, almost a year ago.
Yeah, it seems
about a year ago, and we connected on Facebook. not Facebook, LinkedIn. I don't even know how we do it.
I don't either.
Don't remember. We just started talking. We had a few things in common. We went out and smoked some cigars and said,
drank some whiskey.
"Hey, this is cool.
Let's do this again.
We like each other. Let's see what we could do." We tried. We were getting ready to do some events, and COVID kind of screwed that up. I think we'll take those into 2021 and bring it out and do it. But I'm glad you came on today. We've been trying to get you on. For a while. You finally fired a client.
Made some time. It was for you. That was all for you.
It was all for me.
Absolutely.
It makes me feel so good. It's good to be wanted.
No, I appreciate you having me out. I appreciate the opportunity to come and sit with you and just
hopefully if you know some
around on some stuff.
Yeah, some business owners that should come out here, tell their story and share it out. You want to break it? Love to have you back, and we'll get into some more things and kind of go from there. Jonathan's giving me the 1 minute thing. So give me your website again. What's the website?
Well, the website you can get to through my LinkedIn. It's really more of just a landing page. I don't have a big fancy site. Right. But you can find me on LinkedIn. You can email me at rsmith@salesacceleration.com, the letter X. He's got it up there on the screen right now. Yeah, that's nice.
That's before you turn gray. So
maybe that's been touched up a little bit.
I got that same photo up behind.
Yeah, some of the people that you connect with on LinkedIn, and then you get on like a Zoom or you go meet them in person, like, wow, how old is that picture?
How old is that picture? I got a lady that she's in sales. her picture's on her card, and I'm like, man, I don't know when that glamour shot was taken, but it was long ago.
It was like in the mall in the 80s.
Yes. All right, but yeah, this is Michael Rager, Teach Your Business to Fish. Get out, follow us on the Teach Your Business to Fish, website.